What's going on, y'all? Chuck Nunface here. Got the Coldsteel AD10 in 3V in full TI. This one, of course, is with the black handles. The black handle version is limited to 400 pieces, this being number 86. As you can see right there, number 86. And the plain TI, the blasted scale, uncoated version, is limited to 1,000. As of right now, I don't know if they're still up. I think they should be, but as of the filming of this video, Midway USA, if you're not familiar with Midway, they are primarily a firearms supplier. They have pretty much everything you could possibly want for firearms. For hunting, handguns, rifles, whatever it may be. Midway USA has a lot. And they're a pretty great company. They've done tutorial videos. You can look them up on YouTube. Midway's pretty awesome. But if you're not familiar with them, they do also carry knives, and they're pretty solid distributors of Coldsteel. Well, they recently got a batch of AD10, the blasted handle AD10s in, and they've got them up on their website, or they had them up on their website for $150 off. Now, listen. Maybe this knife isn't your cup of tea. Maybe you're saying to yourself, the AD10, it's too big, it's too heavy. I mean, this thing's 9 ounces as configured with a full TI. It's got a 3.8 millimeter thick blade. I don't know what that converts to inches. I didn't do the math ahead of time. But, I mean, it looks like 0.16, something like that on the blade stock. I mean, it might not be your cup of tea, this knife, and I can understand that. I can understand how this knife may not be for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. However, I am struggling to think. I've got a little glare. I'm going to try to clear that glare up. Hold on the screen. There we go. But I've been trying to think, what is a better value? If you take if you call this thing $250, I'm trying to think of a better value than that for everything you get in this knife. $250 is an absolute steal. You get 3V steel, full titanium scales, really just rock solid construction. I mean, that is not going anywhere. I can't think of anything that's going to offer as much for the price. Now, one potential downside is, well, first of all, it is a fingerprint magnet. That satin finish gets fingerprints very easily. It's belt on the blade, on the grind, and then satin, but it does collect fingerprints quite well. The one potential downside I can see of this knife as a whole is just the fact that it's not USA made. It's made in Taiwan, but that doesn't take away from the quality of the knife. It's really solid. The only thing that I would really complain about would just be the fact that, and I did a short on this, is my blade on this one right here was not completely evenly ground. And so you can see I've got thickness like that on the quote-unquote show side, and then when I look here, yeah, it's the same thickness, but it would show up better on a tabletop. It's not. It's kind of going, my KME edge is going over the factory edge, so it's been ground thinner on this side than it has on this side. So, I mean, that's one thing that's, potentially negative about the knife. Now, in Coldsteel's defense, they're not the only company guilty of sending out uneven grinds. I've seen it from almost every major company lately, from Spyderco, Benchmade, excuse me. I'm trying to think of some others off the top of my head. But those are two offenders right there, not even grinds. The only one that I can think of that has been just lights out in recent memory with completely even grinds has been Microtech. So I won't fault Coldsteel too much for that, but it would be nice if manufacturers on the whole could just get better about putting up uneven or putting out knives with completely even bevels. Because it does seem like it is becoming more of a trend where you have some unevenness in the bevels, where one side is ground a little bit deeper or shallower than the other side. But yeah, other than that, I mean, this thing is just an absolute steal at $250. I mean, you really can't go wrong. So I definitely suggest, if you're able to get one, if you're able to swing it right now, and if they're still in stock, to go over to Midway USA. I will go ahead and link it in the description. Hopefully it'll still be available by the time this video posts. And if it is, I definitely recommend getting it. Kind of real quick too, I wasn't really aware that there was a controversy around this model, but apparently there was. And I guess it stems to prior to Blade Show. These went up on Coldsteel's site, and people thought they were available, but apparently it was just a pre-order, but it wasn't. It didn't really appear to be a pre-order. Something like that. If you know, comment, drop a comment if you know exactly what happened with these. If you were somebody that was affected by it, where you basically paid for the knife and you thought it was just going to be shipped, or you were going to be able to get it right after Blade Show and it wasn't ready yet, or something like that. I don't know exactly what happened, but apparently that was the case. And then, because they only went up on the site a couple of weeks ago for regular purchase, a few weeks ago for regular purchase. And, this one I got in a trade, but I've already covered that in a different video. But in any case, they only went up on the site a few weeks back, and now Midway has them. So I'm wondering if people were just kind of pissed off about the situation. And and I know that some people have said that it's, $400 is the base price for this knife. That's overpriced. They don't think it's worth it and everything else. You can argue that a couple of different ways. I've kind of already touched on it, and other YouTubers have as well. That, for what you're getting, if you look at a base AD10, and then you get aftermarket titanium scales, you're still getting fairly close to that $400 mark. Plus, you're going to be dealing with S35, and then this comes with 3V. So to me, that's an upgrade. I think to most people who consider 3V an upgrade over S35, but that's up for debate. That is definitely not something that's etched in stone. So I think it's already approaching fair value, or beating fair value, really, if you're looking for a full TI production AD10. Now, if the Demko brothers, Demko shop would get out a machine ground mid-tech AD10, I would be on that in a heartbeat. I have heard that that's a rumor, that those are in the production queue for the next year or something like that. So that would be pretty sweet. I'm going to keep my eyes open for that. Well, yeah, but getting back to the whole controversy on these, I don't know exactly what happened. Let me know in the comments if you know what it was. But apparently, they went up on the site and it looked like you could order them, but it was people paid money, but it was only a pre-order and they weren't ready for a couple more months. So I don't really know, but I wouldn't put it past Coldsteel on their site to misprint something, because I don't know who does the proofreading over there. But I mean, I've noticed just spelling errors and everything else, and incorrect information on the Coldsteel site. So I wouldn't be all that surprised to learn that they didn't do something right. I mean, I don't know if Coldsteel/GSM would intentionally mislead people. It doesn't really seem like a good business practice. But in any case, they went up on the site and they were available for quite some time, whether that was people being pissed or price consideration, something like that. But kind of a roundabout way of saying, just the other day, Midway USA ended up putting them on their site. I got an email and everything else, and sure enough, it's the plain handled version of this knife on sale at $150 off. You can probably get a coupon code for that too and apply it as well, depending. So listen, long story short, or long story a little less long, it's a fantastic knife. I think it's a fantastic knife at $400, and it's a lead pipe lock at $250. I mean, I just don't see what else is out there. Let me know in the comments what you think a better value at $250 is, that kind of has something similar to this. Premium steel, titanium handles, not made in China. I know, Taiwan's not the USA and it's China adjacent, but they're not a economic and potential military adversary of ours. So, I mean, I don't know what else is out there that gives you all that at that price point. That's going to be better. I just don't know. So let me know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. That's going to do it for me. Go ahead and give me a subscription, or consider subscribing to the channel, at least if you haven't done so already. I know a lot of people have subscribed, and I certainly appreciate that. A lot of people watch my videos without subscribing, so if you're one of those, consider subscribing to the channel. Give back a little bit. We do this, I'm giving you stuff. You don't got to pay nothing for it. Do a little something for me. What do you say? Subscribe to the channel. Consider subscribing to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at Chuck_Nunface. My backup, Chuck_Nunlimited. Look for me on X. I'm going to try to post there more often. And that is going to do it for me. Thanks, y'all.